You were hoping for a real fast and frantic start from this Liverpool team and really would put this Real Madrid team under pressure. But they seem like a team that never really genuinely believed before a ball was even kicked that they could win this. It was a flat performance in the main. And you expect in a situation like this, I kept saying, go out on your sword. You go out all guns blazing, and they didn't do that. But again, it might be a little bit where they're thinking handbrake on a little bit because we want to make sure we keep ourselves in the frame for going into Champions League football in the Premier League. And if we lose this by a big margin on the night, could it affect us going into the weekend or into the next phase of the Premier League game? So a lot to going into this game in their minds, but I think they'll be disappointed to come out of a game when you don't give it everything.
Yeah,
that's not a nice.
I don't think they're allowed to, Ree. I don't think Real Madrid allowed them to really impose themselves on the game. I thought Real Madrid controlled it from the moment they went ahead at Anfield. It felt like today they just controlled the tempo of the game, and I thought that was the issue before the game. I thought they might do that with the three in midfield and top quality players and not being able to get close to them. Bogged down in one goal, like, let's be honest, the tie was lost at Anfield, and that was a goal towards the end of the game, but it does encapsulate a lot of the season. There was, players switching off, players not doing the right things defensively, not attaching themselves.
Why?
Not enough talking. It's hard to put your finger on. Like Mo said before the game, they were in the hunt for 4 trophies last year. They've pulled up trees. They've been superhuman for the last few years. So to put your finger on it this year, it's been hard, but it's been miles off what they were last year.
They look like a team that's run out of steam. Physicality was one of the biggest parts of their game in their successful period. Being able to outrun teams, overpower teams over the course of the whole season. They were great at that. Add to that a tactical nous and how to pressurise teams and put them under the cosh in forward areas. Then now they're not doing that. The team just looks exposed and open and at times lacklustre in the way that they defend, especially in transitions, individually 1v1 duels. They're not winning like they used to. So you put all that together, you get results like we've seen this season and inconsistencies. And it's strange to see because how great this team have been over the last few years.
Yeah, you could literally list 6, 7, 8 things that Liverpool don't do now that they did do in previous seasons. And it starts from the front. I think Liverpool are half the team at pressing now. And that understanding between Firmino, Mane and Salah was just an incredible thing. I mean, the midfield were brave enough to then get behind them because, they always knew there were bits and pieces going to be dropping forward.
And they were athletic enough.
They were. And at the back, they never, they hardly got tested. Now, because the chain, reaction is now they're getting exposed so many times at the back, and now the gaps and the gaps are starting to widen and appear. So there's so many different things that you could point your finger at the moment, but as I said before the game, there's so many positives in this squad, this group of players, that manager, the ownership, everything about this club has been successful for years and years, so they know the formula to win. They've just got to get back to it, which is not easy.
It's difficult, I know, but
you can't rip everything up and start. I mean, this team has done it.
I think it's difficult. I think it's difficult when you look at this team. Is like, I think it's back to basics as well sometimes. Like, what were you good at? The intensity in this team was huge. When I look at them when they defend now, the intensity is not there. Whether we're talking about forward players, the way they're defending this team compared to previous years, or to the defenders who were even there in that good time, they're not defending like they was before. The intensity in transitions, in turnovers, in when players face them at 1v1, I don't see the authority or the confidence now. And you can lose confidence, I know that. But over the long period of time we're seeing, and it's rearing its head week after week now. We saw it against Bournemouth at the weekend. We see it again tonight.
But the United game, we thought it was clicking. The front three, we thought it was clicking on the front foot.
But then before that, we hadn't seen it for ages.
Yeah, I know. It's such a strange one.
So what needs to change then? Because the Liverpool fans are judging Liverpool, quite rightly, based on the last few seasons on Champions League trophies and Premier League trophies and lifting silverware.
Replenish the squad.
How much of a replenishment then is required for this squad?
The difference is, I think, that they've bought players in the last couple of windows. They've bought players, Gakpo, Diaz, to name 2, Jota. Yeah. They're players that aren't coming in to start immediately and change the dynamic of that first 11 immediately. They're players that they need time to build themselves into the first team and to become regulars at some point. Neither 3 of them are regulars in the first team. Yeah, as you go to the outstanding players. Yeah. Top teams, it's hard to, when you're transitioning the team, it's hard to just do it, I'm going to bring in like a few squad players to come and push this team on again. You need a couple of players to go, bang, that's another player that's going to raise the standard of the starting 11.
I don't think they've ever done that, though. No one was willing to pay that big money for them.
What impact does this form have on, let's say you're Jude Bellingham, for example, right? Hypothetically, he's watching Liverpool and that's an option for him. Does he make the decision based on what they've done before, or does he make the decision based on what he's seen in the last 6 months?
Well, that's
Watch
the worry,
the game
isn't
there,
it?
isn't it? Watch
That's
the
the
game
worry at the moment, is that, you know, you're hanging your hat on maybe 1 or 2 additions to freshen it all up, let's say. But the worry is that if Liverpool don't get in the Champions League, then it's not as an exciting proposition. If they don't get in the Champions League, they probably won't have the money to go and do it. We all know that Liverpool isn't awash with money. So, you know, I know there's a kitty there probably to go for a Bellingham for 100.
In a moment, but first we must say congratulations to all 8 teams who are through to the quarter-finals in this year's competition. We've got 2 teams from the Premier League in Chelsea and Manchester City. For the first time in 17 seasons, 3 teams from Italian football, Inter Milan, AC Milan, and the top scorers in the competition, Napoli, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid and Benfica, round off the 8 with Manchester City as the bookies' favourites. And we will talk in great detail before 11:30 this evening about what we can expect from the quarter-finals. But first, let's talk about tonight. And I suppose, Peter, you know, could we look at the goal that Liverpool conceded tonight and draw parallels with the season as a whole?
Yeah, I suppose so, because it was lax. You know, there was some defensive errors. You know, obviously it starts, you know, a bit good passing move. It comes into Camavinga, and then people go to sleep. I think Camavinga. I'm looking at it from an attacking point of view. Camavinga here now. I don't even think Benzema's ready for it. But he takes out the entire Liverpool midfield and front man with one pass. And you look at Benzema now. I mean, with the pace of the pass, I don't even think he's expecting it, but he reacts like the striker he is, and it's an incredible pass through. But then Liverpool are asleep, really.
I just want to take it back now. Let it play. Let's go to the next clip. It's a brilliant pass. I love the pass. But what I want you to see, I'll let it play out and slowly here. As the ball goes into the centre forward, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Here he is. You've got to be thinking defensively. You've got to be thinking, right, my 2 centre halves are in trouble. There's going to be a chance. There could be a run or a ball coming in here at some point, or at least let me get myself back in to cover my defenders. That's got to be your first and only thought in this phase of play. I'll let you play on here. The ball goes through. Look at the separation when the ball comes down to Vinicius there. As he touches that ball there, he's gone from being side by side to being 5 yards now behind the player he was marking. That's a world-class attacking player who you can't take your eyes off for 1 second. How he's got separation within two seconds-ish to get to 5 yards and a chance at goal. He'll be looking at that, I'm sure, Trent, and thinking I could do better there, because you can't switch off at this level. And this one here, this is what I love here. It's a fantastic ball, but I'm a centre-back. That distance, again, between one centre-back to the other at this stage, with, by the way, one of the most deadliest, lethal strikers on the planet in this position, with the midfielder actually facing play as well. I'm baffled as to why one of those centre-backs doesn't go, right, I'm going to attach myself straight onto him, I'm going to mark him, and the other one can cover or get in front.
That ball can't go in either here. That ball can't go into this player here.
No.
Fabinho's got to be across, you know, Harvey Elliott maybe blocking the ball, this ball in here maybe, but the ball can't, a straight ball can't go into the goal.
You know, just stop it there 1 second. Do you know the conductor's there is though? Do you know the conductor is there to get Fabinho across here? To get him to stop that pass. These guys, these two, have to be the talkers. They have to be the ones that are screaming, because they can see it all from behind. They can see everything. Scream. You've got to scream and get that player across in front to stop the pass. That's how you help the defensive midfielder to look a better player. You move him, he looks great.
Look, we know they're playing Real Madrid, right? But the question, if you're a Liverpool fan watching this, is why is this happening? We know that Jurgen Klopp is a fantastic coach. We know that there is incredible talent on the football field. We also know this isn't the first time we've had a conversation.
Great chance of Modric.
Yeah.
At what point does Jurgen Klopp just say, go for it? If you concede a couple of goals, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think he will be saying that. You've got nothing to lose. You'd rather go out on your sword. In a situation, you got to go for it. If you lose 2-0 on the day and it becomes the situation where you're out, that's part and parcel. You've got to go for it. Don't leave this stadium where we could have done more.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, Steve McManaman made the point before the game, didn't he? That there's no panic. You don't have to score 3 goals in the first 10 minutes. But now, all of a sudden, it's 0-0. Now you start having to turn the screw, I think, and maybe start chancing.
Didn't leave himself open and vulnerable at that point.
Yeah. The issue, exactly that. The issue is when they start throwing men forward towards the end of the game, we feel like
you've got to get a goal. Well, you've got to get 3 goals. So